Greetings all, my name is JD from Studio 2105. Welcome back to Direct Access MixStream and a brand new episode of Weekly Update Wednesdays. This week's featured question is another commonly misunderstood subject on the topic of mixing levels. If this is your first time here, warm welcome to you, a big shout out and thank you to all the patrons who help to support the channel financially. Do sign up for the email list for a bunch of free stuff, and if you want to become a patron, head on down to the website in the description below. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do click on the subscribe button. I would gladly appreciate that. And don't forget, click on the notification bell as well so that you'll be updated every time I put out a brand new video. Oh boy, this is the second time I'm recording this video. I recorded the entire thing the whole way through, only to discover that the audio, was having a problem, And I traced the culprit down and found out that the issue was this thing here. This is the power supply module, the phantom power module for the clip-on condenser that I'm using to record, my voice. And it was putting out, this whole rumble all the way. So, something is definitely wrong with this, I switched it out for another one that was working. So here we go. I'm going to re-record this entire video. Hopefully it turns out better the second time round. I'm having a hard time understanding what levels to do my mixes. When I turn down my tracks so that my final mix is minus 23 LUFS, those levels are so low, there's barely enough signal hitting my compressor. I have to add a ton of gain or increase the aux sense to the maximum in order for it to work. When I watch mixing videos of some of the big guys, their meters look like they're slamming. What are your levels before and at the end of your mix bus? Do you just get the thing rocking and then turn on the output at the very end? First of all, you've gotten things confused with the broadcast level of minus 23 LUFS. That is the distribution loudness standard for film and TV broadcast, and it's got nothing to do with how loud you should make your mixes. This is also a number that gets confused, and conflated with the minus 14 LUFS value that gets tossed around without understanding what it is meant for. Minus 23 LUFS, once again, it's for film and TV broadcast. Minus 14 LUFS is the distribution loudness for digital streaming platforms, i.e. Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, etc. Now, for a clear explanation of what this is all about, please do check out episode 96 of Weekly Update Wednesdays, titled Mastering Myths and Misconceptions. To put it simply, it is all about gain staging or gain structure. I know, it's those two dirty words again. Some folks roll their eyes at the mere mention of it, so I'm not going to go into a lengthy explanation. What I am going to share with you is a quick and easy way of how I set my initial levels and how I get my mix levels and my mix balances going. And most importantly, the benefit of doing so, which is something which no one really talks about. The first and the most important prerequisite for this to work is to have a calibrated monitoring level. What that basically means is that when your entire system is at unity gain, i.e. your DAW faders are at 0, your mixing console master fader is at 0, and you output a test tone, you should be measuring a certain sound pressure level, SPL, at your listening position. A detailed explanation of the calibration process is going to require an entire video tutorial of its own, but for now, all you need to know is that you need to have a way of generating a test tone. Now, every DAW has some type of tone generator plugin, or you could use a third-party alternative. The next thing that you will need is an SPL meter. You can get this from a hardware store. You can buy it from maybe your audio retailer. But the quick and easiest way is to just download an app from your smartphone. For example, the one that I use is JBL Tools. Very, very cool, and it is free of charge. For the test tone, I use pink noise with an output level of minus 20 dBFS. The aim of this exercise is to set your output levels so that your speakers will produce roughly 83 to 85 dB SPL in your room. If you're in a smaller room, this might be a little bit too loud, so you may want to aim for a little lower, maybe 76 to 79 dB SPL, which is around 6 dB softer. You start by measuring the output of one speaker. You adjust the output level knob of your audio interface or the output faders, right, if you're using a mixing console. Now, alternatively, if you don't have that, right, if you don't have sort of monitor controller or a way of controlling the output volume, you can adjust the level trim knobs on the back of your active speakers, or if you're using passive speakers, level knob on the power amp. You will want to aim for around 82 dB SPL in each individual speaker, because when you have both speakers on, the doubling of power will result in a 3 dB increase in sound pressure level. Mark those settings, okay? And when you start mixing, start with that level. With your monitoring levels calibrated, you will always have a consistent reference level to fall back on. The next step is to determine the initial mix level, which will give you that 85 dB SPL measurement. And the method in which I do it is by setting my kick drum level. Allow me to explain. With the way that I have my monitoring levels calibrated and my output level set for my room, I found that by setting my kick drum to -12 dBFS and then balancing the rest of the mix relative to the kick drum, the output from my speakers is going to be consistently around the target value of 85 dB SPL. I repeat again, I set my kick drum to -12 dBFS and I balance the rest of the mix, the rest of the drum kit, the bass, the guitar, the vocals, everything relative to that. Very often I will not adjust that kick drum level, or maybe if I do, it's going to be very minimal. When I play back the entire mix and I measure the SPL, it's very often around 85 dB. Now, depending on the size of the room, right, and the listening distance, you will have to experiment to find that appropriate level for the kick drum. -12 dBFS is not a rule. It's not a set target that you have to aim for. It's something that works for me in my room, in my listening levels that I've calibrated, and you need to determine what works best, what level is the most appropriate for your studio environment. It may be a little bit higher, it may be a little bit lower. You will have to put in that time and effort to make the measurements. Now, why 85 dB SPL? This is our good old friend, the Fletcher-Munson curve, right? 85 dB SPL is the sound pressure level in which, right, our human hearing is the most flat. So it makes sense to monitor at that level at the start, right, at the beginning of the mix process, or even any time when we need to do any sort of critical listening. The benefit of working at this 85 dB SPL cannot be disregarded. Number one, your hearing is less fatigued, your EQ, your compression settings, your reverb settings, your choice of sounds are all going to be made in a much more well-informed manner. All this will go towards a better sounding record. Now, certainly throughout the course of the mixing process, there are times where you might want to monitor softly, right? For example, if you want to fine-tune, right, balance of mid-range elements, or at times as well where you want to turn it up louder when you want to feel the impact of the low end. Of course, right, use common sense, and it goes without saying, be careful not to monitor at excessive levels for extended periods of time. If you want to see this in practice, I suggest checking out any of the MixStream videos, as I almost always start out by setting the initial levels that way, okay? i.e. setting my kick drum to about -12 dBFS and balancing the rest of my mix to that kick drum. I hope this answers your question and also clears up the misunderstanding surrounding the levels at which you should set your mix to. It's not about -23 LUFS, it's not about -14 LUFS. Again, it's something that I've already covered in a previous video, so please do check it out. If you found this video useful and informative, please do leave a like. Please do share this with your friends. Once again, if you're not a subscriber, click on the subscribe button and notification bell as well. If you consider becoming a patron, head on down to www.patreon.com/studio2105 if you want to become a patron subscriber. See you in another video real soon. Stay safe, stay happy and healthy. Happy recording and mixing. Peace, love, and music.